All right, guys, we're back with another Modified Rides podcast. Today, you're stuck with just me. Only one you got, no guests. Well, I guess I could be the guest, but figured I'd start out by saying thank you guys for 50 killer episodes. I just released episode number 50 with Mike Alexander. When I started this several months ago, I had no clue that I would be 50 episodes deep. I had no clue I'd be 10, 20, didn't know. Had no clue where I was going to go with this, how things were going to work, but you guys seem to like it. I've had some cool guests on. I feel that you guys have enjoyed the content I provided you. So I want to start out by thanking you guys and let me know who you want to have on, who you want to see, who you want to hear, however you view your podcast. Let me know. Let me know what kind of content you want me to go over. I'm always in the mood to expand, to bring different kind of people on board. So I also have t-shirts. I have not posted much about that lately. I had, the Modify Ride podcast t-shirts in black. I got everything from small to, I want to say 3 or 4X. I don't even remember now. They've been tucked away since show season's over, but I have those. Reach out to me if you want one. Love to get some more of those out there. I'll do $25 shipped on is what they've been. So let me know. All right. So to get to what this week's podcast is about, I figured I'd give you guys a little update now that we've got the first 50 episodes out of the way. For you that follow me online, I've sold Project Stockish. It is gone. It's to a new home. The guy's supposed to show it and enjoy it. Older gentleman bought it, absolutely loved it, checked all the boxes for him. I love to see that it went to a good home, that it'll still be out at shows. So that chapter of my life is done, I guess you would say. I know I built the Tahoe to match it, same color, same interior, same brushed wheels, so many details. Did a few photos and videos of both of them together, but then I realized it's time for me to do something else. I said all last year, I'm not doing another SEMA build. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to do it. Well, attended SEMA 2024. I was like, I kind of want a dually. Let's do a standard cab dually, maybe something lifted again. Started looking at prices of new dualies, and when the mid-range model is over 90,000, I was like, let me step back and not do a dually. But I do have another project. So once again, you guys that's followed me online, you'll see that I now have a new project, a 1977 K5 Blazer. I've always thought they were cool, and I think this past year, 2024, at Triple Crown, Hills Hot Rods had like 4 or 5 of them out there. I kept going back to them, was gravitated back to that booth. Even my wife was like, why are we going back to this booth again? It's like, well, I want to look at these Blazers again. I think they're cool. I think they're, a static drop like that would be cool. I'm like, well, maybe I bag one, maybe a static one. Kind of put it in the back of my mind. Didn't think much about it after that. Well, right after SEMA this past year, stayed out with Adam for another week, which is where his podcast came about in his garage. But had time to sit with him, and was like, I was watching him build the C10 chassis that he was building on, or doing all the Porterbuilt stuff, and was like, maybe I'll do the Blazer I looked at Triple Crown. We got looking at options, parts, that kind of stuff, and was like, that market's kind of big. Let's investigate that some. So we went to Dino's, stayed with him for a week, then went to Dino's. And I did notice at Dino's that the amount of Blazers that were there, round bodies, square bodies, lifted, lowered, all of them, they were a huge, huge presence at Dino's this past year. Got tons of ideas, took pictures, made notes, figured out the best route, decided I've got to do a K5 Blazer, sat down with Adam, figured out what he could do, what he couldn't do, what we should do, and sent him after finding me a Blazer. So he found that one on that was been a West Coast vehicle that actually lived most of its life outside of Las Vegas. So as far as I can tell, it's been in that area its whole life. Well, found one that was a project somebody had already put an older Porterbuilt bag set up on the front clip was off of it, fenders, hood, grill, engine was out of it. Perfect. Got it for a good deal. It was what we needed. Got it to his house, or to the shop there at his house. Figured out that it was going to be exactly what we need. Very minimal rust, only a couple little small spots we got to patch, blend back in. No big deal. Rockers were good, doors were good, floors were good. Already had the hard worker pulling the factory engine and transmission out of it, so that was good. So figured out plans, look, what we're going for. So this thing, I think it's called buckskin, if I'm not mistaken, is the factory color. It's buckskin with the white strip in the middle, has the white shell. We're leaving that. We're leaving the factory buckskin paints as like a tan, a light brown, not really a brown, but it's not really a khaki. It's kind of darker. But we're going to leave the factory patina. We're probably actually going to add a little more patina to it and then go through, thanks to Poppy's patina, and we're going to do one of their flat out clears. We're going to have Ryan Evans go through and spray the clear. I have to touch up a couple spots, blend those in. No big deal. But we will paint the shell. As you know, that if you've messed with those Blazers, those shells tend to go bad, especially the West Coast ones that are there in the desert like that. The top wants to kind of dry out and you start seeing the fiberglass in it. We're going to re-resin, re-glass the top, smooth the top out, paint it, and then paint the roof of the cab, because this is not being a 77, it's not a full roof, it's just the 3/4 roof. So the roof over the front seats is, metal. It don't come off with the roof like the round bodies do. We're going to paint it back white. It's pretty rusty right now, but just to blend that top to make the top work right. Well, we're also going to do a lowered coilover chassis. I know the big market now with the Blazers, everybody's lifting them. Roaster Shop's building lifted chassis. Rev B's building lifted chassis. Like so many people's building the lifted chassis for these, but I want to go low. I wanted to do bags, but then I realized that bags add that extra step of comfortability, I guess how you would say it, to where you can't just hop in it and roll. You can. A lot of people do. Not bashing that at all. That was one thing I wanted to do. But after me and Adam talked, you realize that when you bag it, there's a 99% chance you're losing the back seat in the Blazer, which makes it the Blazer. Without the back seat, it's just a truck with a shell on it and a walkthrough. So opted to do coilovers. So we're going to do a lowered coilover. We're going to go as low as we possibly can. The Fat Fab chassis that was a body drop coilover chassis really piqued my interest to see how low it could sit with coilovers. We're going to do larger, the Heart Fab wheel tubs in the front. We're going to do their air ride wheel tubs to give us more clearance, just because we are going lower, losing that factory cross member. I'm going to do their firewall kit. Thanks to Heart Fab for coming on board, providing the engine bay sheet metal. I'm also doing a LT1 Gen 5, Gen V, whatever you want to call it, out of a 21 Camaro SS 6.2 liter with the 10-speed auto transmission. That's going in it. Get rid of that, the old carbureted 350 that originally came in those things. So now we're going to have, like I said, the 6.2 liter, LT1. We got Edelbrock sending a stage 1 cam. We have the DOD or AFM delete, whatever you want to call it, from Edelbrock. That's going in. Ultimate Headers providing us with like a mid-tube header that will clear the new coilover suspension, clear the new raised cross member. Also doing Entropy Radiators, is building us a badass dual fan, all aluminum radiator with the trans cooler built into it. That's going to look awesome under the hood, doing some paint work on the factory engine covers. Got some coil pack covers to dress up. You guys that know me know I tend to over detail a few things. You walk around stuff, everything I build, and you see more stuff that you didn't see the time before. That's the plan with this one. So engine bay, coilover suspension. We're going to do the AMD wider tubs in the rear. Raise a little bit of the bed floor to clear the suspension stuff in the back. Not do too big of a notch. Don't really have to on these for what we're doing. We don't have to do the big step notch that blows through the floor. Just enough to probably a couple inches through the floor to raise the seat a little bit. like I mentioned, AMD on the wheel tubs. AMD's come on board. We're going to do all new parts from them. Of course, the body is in killer shape. Like I said, there's a couple little spots, patch panels we have to get from them. Those are coming. But stuff like the grill, the grill trim, the headlight buckets, the headlights, the headlight adjuster screws. I had no clue that these companies like this had every little clip and bolt and screw and spring you need to bring your old vehicle back to life. That's what I did. I got it with them, figured out what we needed. We've got new glass coming from them, got new door glass, got a new hatch glass coming from them. Little stuff like the gauge bezel, the headlight switch, the knob for the headlight switch. You got the vents, all the square bodies, the vents want to flop around and be broke. They're 50 years old at this point for the most part. This one's 48, I guess. Got those coming. AMD has a massive catalog for these old classic vehicles, cars, trucks. They're stepping up to the Blazer stuff now, which of course from the doors forward on the C10 square bodies fit the Blazers and the Jimmys as well. So luckily they have most of the parts I need. Even little stuff like the gas cap, the wiper arms, all the little stuff like that you wouldn't think about. You got the plastic vent that goes inside the door, so when you shut the door, the flaps open to let the pressure out. They have all that stuff, the parking lights, the gaskets that go in the parking lights. You name it, AMD's got it. So big shout out to Eddie and Jason over at AMD for helping out with this project. I've also got Precision Replacement Parts coming on board. They're providing all of the window sweeps, the door sills, the seal from the shell to the body, the tailgate seal, the hood to cowl seal, the little rubber bump stops for the doors. Like they've got all the seal stuff down pat. So they're providing all that. Going to do an article on installing those. Also teamed up with Fessler USA for their flush mount glass. They have the flush mount windshield and the flush mount shell windows. That having a clean seal like that on those windows really modernizes it. Even though we're leaving the patina paint, to add that modern touch with that glass, huge change on there. I've got Rad Machining going to hook us up with some fender emblems, a dash emblem to throw the name into it. For those that follow me online know I've named this. I've named it Biscuit. So spelled a little different, BISKIT. For one, that fits in the space where it says Blazer, like on the fenders. So it says K5 Blazer, the same letter space will say K5 Biscuit. So the Biscuit name, I'm trying to figure out tans, browns, give me names for tans, give me a name for browns, trying to find a good name for this. Well, brownish come up as one of them. Had stockish last. It's like, that may work. Decided not to do the ish names again. Biscuit was one of them. Like, this thing's tan and white. It'll be burnt around the edges on the patina. Biscuit. It's going to look like a biscuit. So there you go. Biscuit. Changed the spelling a little bit to make it, more custom. Now you can follow hashtag K5 Biscuit, BISKIT. Make sure you click that, follow that hashtag. Anything tagged with this Blazer will be under that name. Trying to think what else we've got here. We've got Apex Leathers come on board. They're going to provide me the leather. We're still trying to lock down the color of the leather. We're going to do full leather this time. No vinyl. So the doors, the pillars, the seats, the trim in the back, all of it will be full high-end leather from Apex Leather. Shout out to Jen and the crew for coming on board with that. Going to have Ghetto Bob handle the interior work to do all the wrapping, building the custom door panels, building the custom center console, doing the audio, still trying to lock stuff in with the audio. So, let me know what you guys are thinking. Nothing big. We're going to do a couple tens. You work with the company, want to work with me, let me know. A couple tens, couple vocals, nothing crazy. Just keep it classic, keep it clean. Like I said, looking at a couple different, a couple different colors to do different color choices like that. So let me look some stuff up here real quick. I know you guys don't want to have a pause here, but I want to look up to see the stuff spreadsheets here. Yep. So also have a LS Fab coming on board. LS Fab's going to provide. They've got a raised tag bracket for the rear on those square body bumpers. The tag hangs down a little bit. As low as we're going, we don't want to drag and destroy the tag, so they're going to provide that and the hood braces. As you know, their square bodies are bad to do what they call the taco hood. I know y'all seen it on Barrett Jackson and Meekum, where the lady goes to shut the hood and the hood folds in half. Just those factory hood hinges are garbage. So this stops that with their brace. I got Console Vault sending a new vault for the custom console. Once we get measurements, we're going to get with that. They had a safe in Project Stockish and Basic Betty. Gives me a place to store a gun or a wallet or whatever we're doing. Don't have to worry about it getting broke into. We've also got, like I mentioned earlier, Poppy's Patina. They're handling the spray on clear coat force that's made for patina stuff. It's got a mechanical bond instead of a chemical bond, so any true rust that's visible on this, it sticks to that. Gives that a nice finish. Adams Polishes are back on board. I've worked with them since 2017. And actually the next podcast after this one, Adam Patali, the owner of Adams Polishes, will be my guest. So stay tuned for that one. But they're going to handle all the cleaning stuff to keep this thing looking good. With it being patina, you guys that know me know my OCD is going to be a little haywire, not having a perfectly shiny, slick, scratch-free paint. But I've also been anti-patina for a few years, and it's like, I want to be able to get in something and drive it and not worry about it, not worry about a dent or a scratch or a chip or something. So for now, Biscuit's going to be patina. We're going to leave what it is, a couple years down the road, which I do plan to keep this one longer. I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to keep it, but I'm building this to have something that I can hit different types of shows instead of the same handful of shows every year. Widens my horizon, gets me out there, more stuff to shoot for the magazines and stuff. But I got to deal with learning how to keep a patina finish clean. Got Locar coming on board. They're going to provide the drive-by-wire, new gas pedal, the new brake pedal. They've got some interior pieces. Eric and the guys over at Locar is going to come on board, help out with that. Also teamed up with New Relic. So this truck was a manual window, manual hatch. Had to open the back and hand crank down the back window to get the tailgate down. Well, New Relic makes direct bolt-in power window regulators, the whole bracketry, the wire and harness with the switches. They give option to either do the switch in the factory location, the door, or a console. I'm opting to keep my doors clean. I'm going to do the console mount. They're providing the window regulators for both the doors and the hatch. So now I'm converting the hatch over to power. So I have a switch up front for the window, or put the key, turn the key, get the window go up and down. Like I said, Ultimate Headers and Entropy Radiators is doing the headers and radiator for this to make this LT1 swap even easier. Like I said, I got Edelbrock coming on board to provide a few parts. They're also part of Russell hoses and stuff, so they're going to provide the fuel lines and the power steering lines and whatnot, all the AN fittings and everything. With us throwing away all the wiring, all the fuel lines, all the brake lines, all that, we have to start from scratch. So thanks for companies like Edelbrock and Russell, we're going to be able to bring this thing back to modern capability here. God, I did it, sending me a tilt column, get rid of that factory junk column. We're going to do the column shift lever on it. Going to have cruise control built in. I plan to drive this thing. Yes, I'm losing the adaptive cruise all these new vehicles have, but as long as I have cruise, right, going to have my foot on that gas pedal the whole time, I'm good. I did it's taking care of that for me. Like I said, Apex Leather's coming on board, providing the leather and the square weave, that German weave carpet. Going to try to keep a super high-end looking, classy interior. Got Vapor Trapper sending a Vapor Trapper. That's the only way to put that. If you look them up, I know some of you guys have had either classic vehicles or even modern vehicles with fuel cells, pull it in the garage. You go in the house, come back out the next day, the garage smells like gas. It's gross, stinks. Everything in the house starts to smell like gas after a while. Well, Vapor Trapper sent us one of their trappers. So basically a charcoal canister that goes in line on swaps like this, or your factory fuel line and stuff, and it vents out the fumes through the charcoal canister, so you don't have the fumes stinking up your garage. So there's little details like that that I've teamed up with on these companies to make this build as modern as possible, but still keep that classic look. Of course, I got to have horn blasters on. Thanks to my guy Tyler over at Horn Blasters, we're going to put some sort of setup on this. Don't know what. We've got to get the chassis handled, the suspension handled, figure out what kind of room we have. You know, we're throwing away all the electronics that came factory in this truck. So got to have a horn on it. I'm not going to go to AutoZone and buy a regular horn to put in it. Nope. Going to have some sort of train horns on it. Don't know what size kit yet, but we'll have that. So that's a must, any of my builds. That's another little modern touch we're bringing in. So LG Billet, another one of these billet companies that make some cool parts. LG makes the door strikers, the billet door strikers. You know, a lot of these square bodies, you go to shut the door wants to rattle, it don't want to open. Well, these new billet strikers with the piece on it that basically shuts the door and latches it like it should. LG Billet's sending that, which on the other end of that latch, I have AMD is providing the all new latches and latch hardware. So these doors should shut and open as good as a new vehicle. They also have the hood striker. So when the hood's open, you have a nice little billet, hood striker on the hood to tie into the new AMD latch, AMD, pop-up spring from the factory core support there. Like the Fessler glass coming and helping us with the flush mount glass, give that the modern touch. Teamed up with Seat Belts Plus. We're still waiting on their samples. Got some colors coming to try to match up with what I'm looking at as far as colors for the interior. 50-year-old seat belts, junk. Throw them away. I'm not even trusting my wife's life. Well, she does have life insurance, so maybe I'll just put one on the driver's side in the back seat. But no, I'm going to do all new seat belts. I think the Seat Belts Plus. Like I said, we're going to match the seat belts up to the color interior we do. Dial Dynamics has done lighting for the last several of my builds. They did the underglow on Cranberry. They did the rock lights on Basic Betty. They had all the lighting on my golf cart and everything. So we're going to do underglow on this. It kind of somewhat don't fit the classic look, but it also fits that modern classic look, something to light the wheels up, something to light up cruising at night. That's the only reason to do that. Got sealskin covers, makes killer car covers. During this build process, being built in Vegas, there will be some times that it will have to be outside without glass in it, maybe without the shell in it. We don't want all the crazy desert dust piling up inside of it. When they get rain out there, it rains for a little bit, so don't want to flood it out. Got this weatherproof car cover coming. Going to keep this thing dry while it's sitting outside the shop. As of January 21st, recording this, this is the sponsor list, the build partner list behind it. Well, I've got still waiting to hear back from several key people trying to lock in a SEMA spot. If any of you guys deal with classic GM stuff, C10s, Blazers, any of that aspect, and want to be part of this build, I plan to do a ton of video content on this build. I will be flying out to Las Vegas where it's being built and doing a ton of magazine articles on the build, some video content, content for companies that are involved, video content for myself, for my channels, for my YouTube channel, stuff like that. Something you want to be involved in, let me know. I love to team up with good companies and good like-minded people like myself that are involved with this stuff. So, I guess that kind of wraps up this week's podcast. Not really much to go over. Just kind of want to give you guys, first, like I said, a big thanks on 50 episodes. This is episode 51. And I also wanted to go over what I've got going in the plan. So yes, it's going to be a tough few months to get this thing done by, I want it done before October. I want Adam to be able to beat on it and thrash on it to make sure everything's good, go back over it, make sure everything's right. But with the new wiring harness, new fuel lines, new brake lines, new gas tank, new glass, new window gaskets, new door sills, new gauges, new air condition and heat. Like, this should be a new vehicle with an old body. That's my whole point behind this. But I want to be able to have him time to beat on it, so that after SEMA, when we go to Dino's, I can hop in this thing and drive it back across the country, just like I did Betty, just like I did Stockish, make the trip out of it, then have something I can have home and take to shows, take out to date night when we can actually get together and have a date night when schedules aren't crazy. Then I don't have to worry about it. If it gets rained on, I'll wipe the windows, wipe the wheels, done. Spray it off every now and then. Y'all know me. It'll be way cleaner than that. It'll be coated. I'm not going to do that. But make sure you guys always go through and like these videos, like the podcast. If you're doing the audio version, every week I'm on YouTube for the video version, and the same audio gets ripped onto all your favorite podcast apps. You've got the Apple Podcast, you've got iHeartRadio, you got Spotify, you got Podbean. It's on all of them. So subscribe, share with your friends. Like I said, we've got some cool guests coming. So let me know who you want to see, and we'll keep this podcast going. So hopefully it'll be guests moving forward. You don't have to see this mug too often, but appreciate you guys again, and look forward to showing y'all more on the biscuit build. So follow all my Burrell Images Instagram page, Facebook page, all that stuff. The YouTube channel over there, it's separate from the podcast YouTube channel. So make sure you guys follow me and keep up with the build, and we'll see you guys next week.